Hi guys, welcome back to 94.7 The Pulse of Voice for Geelong. It's me, Liam, and we have once again Kevin Mitchell from Jebediah, or some may know him. Bob Evans, he's got his brand new tour out, When Kev Met Bob, rides again off the back of the successful inaugural tour When Kev Met Bob last year. He's going back, he's doing another great round across the country, playing across, starting in Brunswick Heads on November 14th, making stops on the Gold Coast, Brisbane, Belgrave here, Victoria, Perth, Adelaide, Newcastle, Caringbah, Bully, Sydney, and finally returning to the adopted hometown of Kev in Melbourne for a grand finale at the North Kent Social Club on December 14th. How are we doing today?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
As always. So, what was it like to come back to do this tour once again?
Did it at the end of last year. And it was just a bit of a revelation for me in a way. It was the first time I'd ever played Jebediah and Bob Evans songs together. It's the first time I'd ever been able to sort of draw from all of my back catalogue of songwriting. And it just felt great. So I knew that I wanted to do it again. So now, I've been touring a lot with Jebediah this year because we put out the new record, but got a bit of space before the end of the year to go out and do it again. I'm kind of I'm sort of taking the best bits from the last tour and keeping those in, and then also kind of throwing new stuff in there that for people who maybe are coming along for us the second time.
Excellent. So going back to when the initial project was made, the Bob Evans sort of whole idea, what inspired you to come up with this solo project outside of Jebediah in 1999, 2000?
Yeah, I think I've always sort of written, songs on an acoustic guitar. Even when Jebediah was sort of starting out, I was doing that. I guess I was just interested in writing songs that didn't really suit Jebediah. Just got to a point where I thought I'd try doing a gig and see what it was like. I didn't really have any grand plans at that point in time. I just thought I'd do a show and see if I enjoyed it. I did. So I did another one, but it took years before I started to actually go into the studio and make a record. 2003 was when I made the first record. In some ways it's kind of, I started writing songs when I was 12, 13 years old, by myself in my bedroom with an acoustic guitar. And so in a sense, it's kind of just connecting back to that how I originally started writing songs, So in a sense, Bob Evans sort of came before Jebediah in my head,
Yeah, and the timeline of the Kevin Mitchell, really, this is like the roots of
Yeah,
where your songwriting came from.
that's how I see it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Out of the catalog that you've done for Bob Evans, what are those favorite songs you always love to play live, and what memories stem from these songs in terms of their origins when you originally came up with the ideas?
With Bob Evans, well, I always play Don't You Think It's Time. It's probably my most well-known song. It was kind of the song that kind of broke Bob Evans, I guess, the second record, and gave it a whole life of its own. And so I've got a really good relationship with that. So some people don't. Some people kind of have a complicated relationship with their most well-known songs, but I feel lucky that I've got such a good one with that song, and I always play it and I always enjoy playing it because, it does kind of take me back to when I made that record, Suburban Songbook. It was just such a golden period of my life. 2006. I got married that year. Um, I traveled to Nashville to make that record. My first time ever in Nashville, um, and then the record became successful beyond my expectations. And so, yeah, every time I play that song, I guess I'm sort of reminded of what was a really golden period of my life.
What was that experience like in Nashville? Because it's a real big hub in America for music, especially in the country scene.
Well, yeah, I mean, back when I went there in 2006, the Aussies weren't really going there. I mean, unless you were Keith Urban or you were really like a genuine country artist, which I never have been. Um, People didn't get, Australians weren't there. Um, but it's really, that's changed a lot. There are a lot of Aussies in Nashville now. People are going there all the time, basing themselves there, traveling there. Um, and Nashville, it's always just been such a great music city. And, I was really lucky that I got to make two records there. And, we used all these session guys that live there. There's just so many amazing musicians living there. So those records just, the guys that play on them are just incredible. Um, but it's Nashville is not it's not necessarily the kind of city that you think it's going to be. There's that real country, old school kind of countryside to it, and there's the touristy bit, but that's really only like one street on Nashville where all the honky tonk bars and stuff are, and where all the tourists hang out. But behind that, there's like this sort of really quite progressive cosmopolitan city. It's got two massive universities there, so loads of young people. Um, but yeah, it's for people who've never been there. Like when I first went there, I guess I was surprised. It was different to what I was expecting in a really good way. Um, I think a lot of people think of Nashville as, it's got a reputation, I suppose, the tourist side of it, but yeah, it's got way more going for it than just that.
Excellent. Touching on now on obviously the Hotter than Hell tour, big festival coming up across all the wineries and all that. Perfect, a fantastic bill as well. What'd you think of the bill?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, I mean, really happy to be touring with Regurgitator. They're good friends. We've played a lot of shows with them, and also really excited to see Little Birdie again, who are reforming after a long time. They're a great band, made some great records. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing that too.
Excellent. Obviously, wanting to touch on the previous tour that's just come by, the Oaks tour, where I finally first saw both Jebediah and Magic Dirt. What an environment to be in. What did you think of the show overall, sitting there from the stage performing?
Oh, the Orchestra, yeah, it was great fun. I mean, it was great to be on tour with Magic Dirt. Great friends, excellent band. And we're all just, you know, incredibly grateful and happy that people are still interested to come and see us play after so many years. So yeah, it's just a real thrill to be able to walk out on stage and see a room full of people. And some of these people have been coming to see us for 25 years. And
Mm.
that, so then at most gigs there was at least one very young looking person right up the front. You know, often singing along to every word. So I love that as well.
Yeah, it was excellent. I managed to pick up Chris's pick that was left
Oh,
over at the bottom of the stage. One of the roadies picked it up and managed to snag the set list, which sits to one of my other set lists as well. Great set as well, mixturing in the new stuff, the hits, and some of the deeper cuts as well from the early album. So wonderful playthrough.
oh, thank you. And with that pick, Vanessa, Chris, and I, we all use we use identical picks. So you know, that 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 really it could have been any of ours.
That is true. That is true. I've been listening back to some of the older sort of footage online because lots of his stuff gets archived. Offshore Fest 2000, obviously Offshore's a festival is no longer here with us, but here in Torquay. But you shared the bill with a band that I've been absolutely acing it at the moment, Primus. So that was
Oh,
back in 2000. Do you have
yeah.
any recollection of sharing the stage with one of the most wackiest bands to come out of the USA?
I've got no memory of that whatsoever. Was that was it around Easter time?
Yes, it was always a traditional Easter tour here in Torquay.
Yes. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. I remember the show. I remember being there. I think Living End might have been there.
Yeah, that would have been them. Yes.
Um, because we were, yeah, we did a big tour with them just a couple of years earlier. But I don't know. I don't remember seeing Primus. Maybe we left after our show and drove back to Melbourne.
That's fair enough because I think they may have been headlining the day you were on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you probably would have missed it.
Yeah.
So with all the two albums that came out for Record Store Day 21 and 22, the first two albums, has there been any plans to reissue at the Twitch EP, say for Record Store Day next year or 26?
No, no plans. I don't even know where we'd find the masters, to be honest. They've probably been lost. So I've actually got like a about 10 copies of that EP on vinyl just near me here, and that I've been hanging on to. Um, it might be time to take them out on the road and sell them.
Hmm. I mean, we could probably sell them at the shows, maybe, or what
Yeah,
have you. So, or maybe even auction them off, maybe as well.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. What are people paying for them these days?
Discogs prices, last time I checked, it was about $100, $200 for the EP, because obviously, as
Yeah,
you know, was a limited run.
yeah, yeah.
I think
Very
that was,
numbered. They're all hand numbered.
yeah. So I just thought maybe it would be in the off chance that may have been something coming up for the 30th anniversary of Jebediah ever forming. Maybe would have been the time to bring out the Twitch EP once again to kind of commemorate that. But
No, no plans to do that. You know, I think let's keep the value of that record up by not doing a re-release.
fair enough. Is there any plans going forward for Jebediah into 2025 that's been discussed yet, or is that still yet to
Oh
come?
yeah, no, we've got some shows. Nothing that I can announce yet, but no, we're definitely going to be we'll be touring in next year. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's everything I wanted to discuss on. It's going to be a great tour coming up for Kevin Mitchell and Bob Evans getting together again and doing another round of the country. So, thank you for taking time out, and hopefully you're enjoying your day. Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.